How you define failure will directly determine how much money you can make inside of sales and whether you survive this game or not. If you're new to the channel, pleasure to have you. Welcome. My name is Christian Jack. All that we talk about on this channel is how to get to 100 million in sales, just like I have since 2021. And now today, I coach some of the best closers in the industry. Some people doing 20K a month, 50K a month, even over 100 grand every single month in straight commissions. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I've got another banger for you here today. Now, before we get into this, let me tell you something that nobody actually says out loud. When most people start in sales, they think, all right, I'm gonna hit the ground running, I'm gonna make 10K my first month, I'm gonna be that guy. Wrong. Most people don't even close in their first 10 calls. Not a single deal in their first 10 calls. Why? Because if you've ever done sales before, then you know something that most people don't know. You're supposed to be stuck. You're supposed to not know how to run a discovery. You don't know how to build trust. You don't know how to actually sell, and that is normal. But that's where 99% of people actually quit, because they treat that like it's a failure. Them not closing a deal in the first calls, they define that as failure. Maybe I'm not cut out for it. You know, what's wrong with me? Other people are closing deals. Why am I not closing things? But hear me out. Failure is not like not closing a deal. Failure is not learning why you didn't close the deal and fucking fixing it. If you define failure as not closing a deal, sales is going to crush you. It will, as my father used to say, smush you like a grape. All right. Now, in my first sales job, I want to tell you, when I started, I wasn't even making 5 grand a month. I didn't take a day off. I didn't take a very small amount of calls. I took a lot of calls, and I was working my ass off just to crack 3-4 grand a month. Now, before sales, I was a teacher's aide, and I was making about $1,200 a month take home. And so, 3-4 grand a month compared to that was much better. But I was giving my entire month, all of my time day to day, 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. just to make 3 or 4 grand a month. And now I make that in an hour. One call, 40 minutes, close, no objections, instead of that entire month of effort and work. But that didn't just happen because I was a natural at sales. It happened because I failed forward. All right. And the same thing happens with all of the reps that I train, right? One guy who is now doing about 80 grand a month. His first role, he was struggling to break that 10K a month. Another one that I train now who's doing about 35K a month, he was closing at 10% when we first met. So they didn't get lucky is what I'm trying to tell you. They just stopped expecting to win right away and started learning from every single loss. Now, when you get into sales, everybody starts from the same place, right? Not being able to close deals. Then the way that you treat those losses will determine whether you stay closing at 10, 15, 30, 40% and just make 4 to 15 grand a month, or whether you actually get to 20, 50, 100K in monthly commissions. So if you're watching this, you are exactly where you need to be. Not ahead, not behind. You are right where you're supposed to be. Because if you haven't quit, then you haven't failed. The only failure is quitting. Everything else is feedback. So now the question is, how do we go from where we are now to making those commissions through learning from our failures, right? Now, when you are actually studying your lost deals, the problem isn't missing the close. The problem is not that you didn't know how to handle the objection more often than not. The problem is not even just doing that one time. It's repeating that mistake for the next 6-10 calls, right? If you lose one deal to a too expensive objection, let's just say, that's fine. If you learn how to handle it and fix it for next time, you're all good, right? You're growing, you're going to make more commissions. But if you lose another deal, another 5 deals, another 10 deals to that objection, what the fuck are you doing? Imagine what it is actually costing you inside of your entire career in sales if you never learn those mistakes. Probably thousands of dollars a month, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in commissions over the course of your career, all because you were fucking lazy. You were lazy. Let's just call it what it is. You have to treat your losses like study guides. Your calls are textbooks. You just don't read them. The closers that I coach who are doing 20, 50, 100K a month, they study every single deal that they don't close. I actually study them as well for my one-on-one students. Like, we don't just say, like, on to the next one, whatever. Like, we actually figure out, what did they miss? Where did the prospect's belief break down? Where did the salesperson check out emotionally, right? We figure out how we can actually watch back the calls, dissect it like an actual game tape, like an actual professional, and like, just to pause right there on that one, holy shit, what other professions can you have where every single moment of your game tape is recorded? Think about it. Like a mechanic, there's no game tape. If you are a top performing CEO talking to your team in person in the boardroom, or you're running, a sales call even inside of a boardroom with the board, like, there's no game tape. You are so lucky to have game tape of every single interaction that you have, because that means that you can go back and study. I guarantee you, if I went to somebody who's driven and excited to move up the ladder and grow inside of their career in any other industry that doesn't have game tape, and I told them that they could go back and they could rewatch things, study them in order to get better, they would be so goddamn excited. But you have the opportunity and you don't take it, like, fuck you, honestly. Right? You need to treat this like the blessing that it is. And every single week, every single person that actually dissects their game tape like this, they're just a little bit better than last week. That is how you win. If you can grow 1% week after week after week after week, imagine where you're going to be in a year, in 2 years, in 10 years. You will be unrecognizable. So if you are in this game of sales to win it, truly, not just to get by, not just to be average, not just to settle for 5, 10, 15K a month. If you think that you're already good, then you're already stuck. You need to have a student mindset. This is principle number 1 inside of my sales training community, the Sales Dojo, is the more you learn, the more you realize you have left to learn. I can't tell you, like, I know that I am pretty darn good at sales. I know that I am one of the best in the world, but I also know that there is a shit ton that I still have to learn. And I am constantly spending hours a day learning those things and practicing them in real life. So you have to have a student mindset. You have to stay humble and never forget that there is always more to learn. There's always more to grow. Number 2 is implement tactical feedback. I swear the tonality videos on YouTube, like, yes, tonality is important and you need to learn how to use it, but like, I swear you need somebody who's been where you want to go, listening to your calls and telling you exactly what to fix, telling you what the singular biggest problem that you're experiencing is right now and how to goddamn fix it. Because when you have that one thing that you can focus on that's losing you the most deals and you fix it, then you raise your standards. You raise your lowest hanging fruit. And last but not least, point number 3, if you really want to win in the game of sales, is have structure and consistency. Create a system and run it over and over and over and over, making very small improvements weekly. Not massive changes to your system, not ripping up the entire system and trying something completely new. Operate like a true professional. Operate like a business. When they're, testing ads and stuff, they're going to change one thing at a time, right? When I look at, let's just say, the opt-in page for the Sales Dojo as an example, and the numbers aren't where I want them to be, I'm going to change one thing, let it run for a week, see what happens, analyze the data. Did it work? Did it improve? Did it not improve? By how much? Was it a success? Do I need to go back to the old way and try changing something else, or do I keep the change and now change something else? Small improvements, day by day, week by week, change your lowest hanging fruit, raise it, improve what you need to work on over and over and over, and you just do it again and again and again and again and again. Another principle inside the dojo is volume negates luck. You don't have to get lucky in sales. You just have to do more. So stop treating failure like it's the enemy. Failure is not just making mistakes. Like, I swear, the mistake that you made yesterday is the thing that can either haunt you for the next 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, because you never actually face it and fix it, or it can set you up to dominate in the next 10 years. And the beauty of it is that you get to choose every time. So if you are ready to choose to be serious about learning this game of sales, if you're tired of guessing and want real coaching from people who have closed over 100 million in sales, join the Sales Dojo at the link in the description. I promise you, it is the best place on the planet to grow as a sales professional. Live call reviews, real frameworks, feedback from people doing it at the highest level that exists. The link is in the description below. You don't have to do this alone. I'll see you there.